Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures. I'm Sam, an English guy living in provincial Russia, and today I have amazing news for Wild Siberia channel, for Countryside Acres, and for so many more, and also for you if you're thinking about moving to Russia. The news we received yesterday is a complete game changer and is really gonna help you. So the first thing I need to do in this video is to thank Chris from the Plastic Russian channel for this information. I was out in a different town yesterday filming, and Chris was sending me messages really excited saying, Sam, something really big has happened. There's been a huge change in the laws with regards to residing in Russia. And it's really going to be a huge game changer. He's been really excited because it's going to affect him, but it's also going to affect so many other people that have decided to move to Russia. And so I'm really excited to share this news with you today, because it really is going to be incredible for you if you're deciding to move here. So I don't know if you know about Chris's channel, The Plastic Russian. Chris is a really down-to-earth British guy who lives in the south of Russia. Really cool, really super positive guy. And it's really strange because my road is really quiet usually, but every time now I seem to turn the camera on and start filming, a car comes past. So yeah, Chris, really cool guy. His thing is live streams. He comes to life on live streams. So if you check out Chris's channel, The Plastic Russian, I'll put the link below. He doesn't do any of the fancy thumbnails or titles. He really just likes YouTube as a hobby. It's not a make money thing for him. And so Chris is just a really genuine guy, and I advise you to check out his channel, The Plastic Russian. So what's the deal? What's the news? Well, it's all about Russian residency and about Russia lapsing the, is that the word? Well, relaxing, I guess is the word, the conditions required to apply for residency, and scrapping the residency exam. These two things are going to make it really easy for you to come to Russia and apply for residency. And this really is a game changer, because let me tell you what residency and who residency really was created for. Residency is something that was created for people that have been in Russia for a long time, who perhaps had come here to work and they wanted to live in Russia, and they'd been here for a while and they'd worked for a while and they decided to settle. Or maybe they came here as students, they finished their degree course and they decided to stay. And it's for people like this who already lived in Russia and knew the language, because one of the conditions to applying for temporary residency status in Russia, which is a 3-year kind of like residency visa permit, which allows you to work, which allows you to open a business and do so much more things, right, than just being here on a temporary visa. Well, this was intended, as I said, for people that have been here a long time and were ready to take the residency exam. And so if you wanted to come to Russia and you came here as a tourist and, well, you didn't know the language, it was virtually impossible for you to expect to be able to take the exam, pass the exam, and receive residency. The other problem was, in most towns, like my town for example, I've been in Russia for about, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe 9 years before I was able to apply for residency. And the reason this is because there's what's known as a quota system in Russia. Now the quota system is basically an allocation of places for residency. And so in order to receive a spot in the allocated places, and in Vladimir where I lived, I think there was 200 places, and this was an intake twice a year, so 400 places a year. And you would have to go down to the local immigration department and kind of explain to the immigration official why they should choose you to be, to be allocated a spot. And if they agreed that you were deserving of a spot to apply for residency, then you could collect all the documents. Also, you were required to pass the residency exam, which is like an exam in Russian language to prove your knowledge of Russian and prove your knowledge of kind of Russian history and kind of just general facts and information about laws and life in Russia. And if you passed this, then you could apply for residency. But obviously this isn't very good for those people who come to Russia like, I don't know, like Countryside Acres, right? They decided to move their entire family to Russia. If you don't know about Countryside Acres channel, incredible channel, family from Canada, farmers with 8 kids decided to move to Russia. But obviously, even though they knew they would have to take the residency exam, it wasn't realistic for them to have enough time to prepare for it. They came here on a 3-month visa, and knowing that they would need to pass the exam in order to receive residency and stay. And so it wasn't realistic for them. Now, luckily, they were able to claim asylum. But what that did, that led to so many other people saying, oh, I've seen Countryside Acres. You know, they claimed asylum. Can I come to Russia and claim asylum too? And I think Russia, perhaps due to Countryside Acres and their situation, were able to see, well, hang on a second, yeah, there's a problem with this here, because many people want to come to Russia and they want to live here permanently. They want to purchase property, for example. They want to, you know, send their kids to school here. They want to open businesses. But it's not realistic for them to know Russian language enough about the language, the history and the constitution in order to take the test by the time their visa finishes. Now, there was another loophole as to how foreigners could receive residency, because the immigration, when you go to immigration and you apply, they'd look at specific factors. You know, why should we give you, allocate you the space in the quota? And one of the factors was, well, if you're married. And so if you're married, you could receive, outside of the quota, you could receive a space and the right to apply. But even though you're married, you still need to pass the Russian language exam. And so, very difficult. So if you've seen like Wild Siberia channel, Dan, a former US Marine who lives in Siberia, well, he recently got married. And I'm sure he'd love to take the residency exam and receive residency. But obviously it's very difficult to come to Russia, to live your life, right? You've got all the other things going on, and at the same time, learn Russian. So this enables now Dan to apply for residency without having to learn Russian and having to pass the exam. This is a real game changer, because now any foreigner that wants to come to Russia pretty much can apply for residency and not have to worry about passing the exam, not have to worry about going to immigration and asking to be allocated a space and to prove that they should be allocated a space. Now, what are the laws regarding this? Well, this is a decree that was actually published yesterday, that was signed by the president, allowing these changes in the residency system. How will it work? Well, I'm guessing it's going to work exactly the same. You're going to have to come to Russia on some sort of tourist visa, I'm guessing, initially, and then once you're here, you'll be able to apply. Now, the way it works at the moment is, from the moment you apply and hand in your documents, at that point, you can freeze the visa that you're on. You receive registration, and you can remain in Russia until you receive your residency permit. Now, the residency lasts for 3 years. After the 3 years, you can apply for permanent residency. Now, I think for permanent residency, it's pretty much the same as temporary residency, but it never expires. And what you get in the permanent residency, you get like a little blue book. And this little blue book is almost like a passport. You can pretty much do everything in Russia as a citizen can, apart from vote, basically. The only thing that could cause your residency to be kind of annulled is if you kind of break laws. I think you're allowed to break a maximum of 2 administrative laws a year. So just make sure you don't break laws. But this really is a huge game changer, because now people that want to come to Russia and haven't had time to learn Russian, but want to learn it, want to come to Russia, want to you know, live their lives in Russia, can now do so. If you haven't lived in Russia before, then you probably won't realize how much of a game changer this is, because in the past you would have to come here on many different visas. Maybe you apply to be a student for a while, then maybe a business visa, then you maybe work somewhere. You'd have to continuously come to Russia. When your visa finishes, you'd have to leave, go home, and then renew your visa and do it all again. Whereas now, it's amazing. You're going to be able to come here, you then simply apply, and then stay for 3 years. And the news I've heard also is if you're not ready to, you know, move on to the permanent residency, which I'm guessing you still probably going to have to take the exam to do, you can simply leave, come back and apply for temporary residency again and get another 3 years worth. So it really is going to be a game changer. It's going to help all these people that have decided to come to Russia, like Countryside Acres, like Wild Siberia, who are not ready for the language exam. And it's really going to make a massive difference for them, because the things you can do once you're a resident, like open a business or work in a company, that you can't do as you're a tourist, well, it's like night and day now. So this is an incredible thing that's really going to help these guys over at Countryside Acres, Wild Siberia, and so many other people. I know so many other people, including Plastic Russian Chris. If he wants to apply for residency, he now can do that. He doesn't need to every year think about leaving Russia, going to the visa center, reapplying and coming back again. And this is going to be something that's going to be incredible. Now we're going to learn a lot more about this on the 1st of September. They're going to publish a list of countries that this applies to. But basically, the law, as of what we know right now, is if you live in a country with very liberal, relaxed laws that you don't agree with, perhaps things containing, maybe containing, is that the word, to maybe LGBT and things like that, and you don't agree with the liberal way of life that your country is, maybe the way it is heading, then you can have the right to apply. Now I don't know if that's going to mean you need to, I don't know, make a statement condemning your country, or, you know, saying why you need to apply. Maybe it's just going to be a list of countries. All you have to do, as far as I'm aware, is show that the country that you're from, you don't agree with the liberal terms, and that Russia is going to be basically the country that's going to save you from that, and you'll be able to apply for your temporary residency. Now temporary residency at the moment takes, well, it took 6 months when I applied for it, and I had to take the exam and all that stuff. It took 6 months, but I've found out that residency can be received within 3 months lately. So I don't know if they're going to even speed that up even more. They just need to do basically checks. I guess it depends on how many people are going to suddenly apply for residency, if they're going to be swamped by it. But it's going to be a great thing for Russia, because all of the people that I've got all these worries about, how do they come and live in Russia? Now they can do that. And if you're one of those people that wanted to live in Russia but thought, well, how am I going to do that? You know, do I need to become a student? Do I need to find a job? You know, what's the way to move forward? There were so many people that work online, you know, that already have perhaps a business, and they work online and they don't want to work in a Russian company. They have their own business, or perhaps somebody who is retired, right, and just wants to move to Russia and live out their days in Russia. But they didn't want to get a job, they didn't want to become a student, they just wanted to come to Russia, buy a house, maybe build a house like you've seen on the guys on Countryside Acres are doing, and live in Russia. And that wasn't really a feasible option before. Of course, you could perhaps claim asylum and you need to lawyer up and go through all that hassle, and obviously you've seen Countryside Acres have done that. But you know, they have a huge support network behind them of people helping them out, as their story has really become a sensation in Russia. And so it was a lot, I mean, it's probably extremely difficult for them. If you ask them, it probably was extremely difficult, but they were able to achieve that asylum status. But now you won't have to go through any of that stuff, and it's really great that Russia has noticed the amount of people that want to come to Russia but have really struggled with how they're going to make their dream happen. And so this is a complete game changer for Countryside Acres, for Wild Siberia Dan, and for so many other foreigners who now can stay and remain in Russia without the fear that the visa is going to soon finish, without the fear that they know that they don't know the language enough in order to pass the test, that they perhaps cannot prove that they're worthy of receiving a place in the allocation quota. And so this is really a huge game changer. So did I say game changer? I meant game changer. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you want to check out the channels that I mentioned in today's video, the Plastic Russian Chris, living in the south of Russia, purchased a house there, amazing weather, outdoor swimming pool, amazing lifestyle. The link is below. The same with Countryside Acres, you probably know about that channel already. Canadian family, 8 kids, farmers, moved to Russia in a region not far from mine. The link is below for their channel. And of course Dan from Wild Siberia, ex-US Marine, moved to Russia, has just recently married his wife, or married his girlfriend, who is now his wife, Ksenia, who we met in Siberia. There are 3 channels that I love to plug my fellow YouTubers in my videos. Despite the fact that a lot of us don't see eye to eye publicly, I think it's very important that we all support each other in this YouTube community. And so go and check out their channels if you don't know about them already. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I've got some amazing content on the way. Yesterday I was filming a video in Russia's newest town. Extremely impressed with that. That video will be out soon. And yeah, enjoy your day. And hopefully this news will be life-changing for you. You might want to join my Telegram chat group where you could ask me any questions. We've already got about 1,200 people now in the chat group, and got quite a lot of banter going on in there. You could ask me any question Russia related that you want. The link is also below. So have a good day, and until next time, see ya.